If you're a 90s baby right now and your credit score is in the 500s, or maybe you don't even know where it's at, listen, I have been there. And this video, I just want to put out there for anyone who's in that basket. Maybe you're a guy or a girl in your mid to late 20s, early 30s, and you were very much like me and just ignored credit, didn't pay attention to it, ran from it, and basically did everything you possibly could to make it worse. And maybe your credit is even less than 500s. Maybe it's in the 400s, whatever it may be, just know that it's fixable. And in this video today, I'm going to show you some very simple steps that you can start to implement to fix and correct your credit. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another video today, something I'm really passionate about, which is credit. And I can't believe I'm even saying that. You know, just even 3, 4, 5 years ago, in my early 20s, I neglected credit so much and I didn't understand it. I ignored it. And I made dumb decisions in my early 20s and I didn't think it would really matter. Eventually that caught up to me though. I realized it affected where I lived, how I lived, what I could get approved for, what I could buy, you know, how much interest I was paying. And more than all of that, it really just affected how I felt about myself. Seriously, it made me feel bad. It made me feel sick. It made me feel ashamed. And because I wasn't paying attention to my credit, I had low credit score, and that affected my life a lot. But in just over a year, I was able to take my credit from the low 500s to about a 505. And that was about, my credit was in the 500s for a while. But this was, I believe, early 2024. And I took my credit from low 500s all the way to a 720 plus. And that was about mid 2025. So early 2024 to mid 2025. So a little over a year, I was able to do that. And I just finally got disciplined with my finances and my credit specifically. And here's the reason for this video. Nobody really teaches you this stuff. So you either learn it the hard way or you learn it from someone who already did, which was me. So I'm just going to walk you through exactly what I did. Before I even get into the details of that, because I have 8 or 9 essential things that you need to start doing to fix your credit, I just want to talk a little bit about how I felt during that period in my life. And I just felt so behind. You know, I was excelling in my business. I'm a business owner, but I felt behind because I saw all my peers around me who had higher credit scores. They were able to get approved. Maybe it was a new car, maybe it was an apartment, maybe it was a house, maybe renting a house, owning a home, whatever it may be. And maybe it was even just having a credit card. Guys, at this time, like I couldn't even have a credit card. In fact, I had 2 older credit cards from when I was 19, 20 years old that were like in collections. And I felt really just ashamed about that. You know, I felt immature. I felt like I didn't have my life together. And I avoided checking my score any possible time I could or chance I could get. I would avoid it at all costs because I knew it wasn't good. Honestly, I only saw it in a 505. I bet you it was even lower than that before I started taking some action to fix it. But that avoidance, that's what's keeping you stuck, right? That's what's keeping you feeling ashamed or guilty or like immature, like you don't have things together because you're avoiding it. But here's what nobody tells you. Fixing it feels even better than breaking it felt bad. The freedom, the rewards that I have now with higher credit, the less stress, the more mature I feel, the more just together I feel is so worth it. So if you were like me and you ignored your credit and you tanked your credit, listen to this video. I'm going to give you 8 key points here, 8 to 9 key points that you can start doing immediately that will start to have a very quick impact on your score. You can't fix what you refuse to look at. We just talked about it. The first tip I have for you is awareness and accountability. I never even checked my credit score. I barely even knew how to. So number 1, you're going to download 2 apps, Credit Karma and Experian. And this is going to show you, both of those combine, your 3 credit scores. Credit Karma will show you your Equifax and your TransUnion score. And then Experian is going to show you your Experian FICO score. Those are going to be your 3 major credit scores that you're going to want to pay attention to. Basically, Your experience going to seem a lot lower, and that's okay. They just use a different scoring system. Essentially, your credit score will just be an average of all three. Obviously, we want to just try to get all three of them a bit higher than where they're at now. But the first thing you need to start doing is checking your credit consistently. With that as well, you want to actually start tracking your credit report. In all of those apps, you'll be able to look through your credit report. You'll be able to see what loans you have, what collections you have. That's going to be huge in a second. Okay. You need to learn how to read your report. And this is the first step to do it. Download the apps, read through the report, and familiarize yourself. It might show you what credit cards you have open, maybe an auto loan, maybe a former home loan. Maybe if you're renting a house or an apartment, that'll be on there as well, okay? So you need to learn how to read your report, and downloading the apps and just practicing going through it will help you, okay? Then you need to start understanding what utilization was. So just quick math on that. Let's say you have $5,000 of open credit line and you're using all $5,000, you would have 100% credit utilization. And we're gonna talk about that in another step, why you don't wanna have 100% credit utilization, okay? Lastly, a big thing, collections. One of the biggest things that's going to impact your score, which we all have. Like, this is something I felt ashamed of having, was collection accounts. Bills I ignored because I was young and naive and quite frankly stupid. Thought, oh, I don't have to pay these. They're just going to drop them. Yeah, no, that wasn't the case. And I eventually settled on these things later. So understand what collections you have, okay? But number one is awareness and accountability. Download Credit Karma, download Experian, and start familiarizing yourself with the apps and reading your reports. Two is going to be reporting dates. And this is arguably going to make literally one of the biggest differences on boosting your credit score and keeping it up and elevating it as time goes on. But you want to master and understand your reporting dates. So credit cards report to credit bureaus on certain dates, and you can see this inside either your credit card app, like if you use Chase or Capital One or something like that, or on the apps that I just mentioned, Credit Karma, Experian, right? You want to make sure you're paying down your balance. Number one, paying down your balance is first things first. Let's make sure we're actually paying off these credit cards. But once you start actually paying down your balances, make sure you're paying them close to the reporting dates, okay? So for example, if you have a Capital One credit card and it reports on the 28th of the month, don't just pay your credit card bill randomly on the 13th and then you accumulate a bunch of used credit, and that way when the 28th rolls around, sure, you made your on-time payment, but it reports with a higher balance because you accumulated credit on that card in that time period. So what you want to do is make sure your payment due date and your reporting date are close to each other. And say you're, well, Justin, my credit reporting date is, the 28th, but my due date is the 20th. Like, that's going to be 8 days of money in between. All you need to do is have your due date changed as close as possible to the reporting date. So for me personally, my payment due dates are on the 28th and my credit cards report on the 1st. So 3 days in between, I can pay off any extra money in between those days as well. This way, when my credit card reports, if I put $1,000 or $1,500 on my credit card in a month, whatever it may be, and I pay that off in full on the 28th, maybe I accumulate another $100 or $200. By the 1st, it only reports $100 or $200 rather than the whole $1,500. Okay. I learned when my balances were reported. I paid before the reporting date. I made sure low balances showed, and I kept my overall credit utilization under 30%, or really, ideally, guys, even under 10%. And you can do that by paying off your credit cards closer to the reporting dates. If you have $4,000 worth of credit, $2,000 on one card, $2,000 on another, and you're able to pay at those reporting dates down to zero, well, then you're going to report a 0 or maybe even a 5% credit utilization, and that's going to majorly boost your score. That alone made a major noticeable difference. Step 3 was I just used credit cards the right way, right? I stopped treating credit cards like free money. When I was 18 and 19, I had like my first credit cards. One was like a $900 limit. One was like a $1,500 limit. I just maxed them out relatively quickly, just thinking it's free money, and then never paid the balances off. And those were two of my biggest things hurting my credit report over the years, was I had these two balances that I never paid off that went to collections, which I eventually settled on, and we'll get to that later, right? But put your daily and weekly expenses on the card, Okay, treat it like a debit card. You can pay your balance again, like we just talked about, by the reporting date, but it helps to stay organized if you even pay it off weekly. Now, that's a personal choice. I'll leave that up to you. But when you use a credit card like a debit card, you're also going to get all the rewards from it as well. The cash back, which I personally use on Amazon. You know, I buy pretty much everything I need on Amazon, so I can use that cash back at Amazon all the time. You can use it for travel, flights, rental cars, booking hotels. A lot of credit cards give even bonus cash back for booking through them as well. But treating your credit card like a debit card and just becoming financially responsible and disciplined will be a huge unlock for you in the credit game, okay? And of course, like I mentioned previously, pay it off in full every single month and do it as close to that or on the reporting date as much as you possibly can. This way you carry no interest. Paying credit card interest will be the death of your finances. You are just burning money away. And guys, like I understand on a credit and a financial journey, maybe you don't have all the means to pay out those balances early on, and that's okay. Work on them. We'll talk about another strategy later where you can do a transfer balance and then come up with your own payment plan to pay off any carried over debt, okay? But this built payment history without digging a deeper hole for me. So with that, we'll get over to the fourth step, which is facing your bad debts. This was hands down the most uncomfortable part because I had to stop hiding from the problem and I just had to take ownership of everything. So you can kind of see like how this blends into your daily life. Maybe it's building discipline with your fitness. Maybe it's building better relationships, just a better version of yourself, right? Like facing your finances, especially like the bad side of it, debt collections, debts you never paid, debts you owed, like it's uncomfortable and it makes you take ownership of it and improve these things. And that will have a carryover in other aspects of your life. So you want to face your bad debt. So go through the apps, look at your credit report, see what debt collections you may have. You probably have stuff you don't even remember from years ago. You ignored an old bill, an electrical bill, a heating bill, internet bill, final dues for an apartment. You know, I've had one of those. And you want to call the debt collectors, set up payment plans, negotiate with the debt collectors. Usually you can get these negotiated for 50% or less. I had that happen with a PayPal credit, right? I was using PayPal credit. This was back in 2017, 2018. It was a $3,000 limit. Used the entire thing. And guess what? Didn't pay it. And for years, I let it sit. And to the point where they even sued me. All right? I even got sued for this debt. And I was able to settle, have to hire a lawyer, settle, but I was able to settle for 50% less and get on a monthly payment plan for that, which thus I ended up just paying it off in full when it got to the very last bit. So this is the uncomfortable part, facing the bad debts, paying back debts that you owe, right? Paying balances. Never ever let it get to the point, if possible, to where you're being sued though, right? So hopefully this video can help prevent you from that. Once you have these payments made, right? You might have 2 or 3 on there. Just make the payment. Maybe it's a couple $100. Just pay them in full. Negotiate a paid in full. Maybe you get a 10% discount. Maybe you get a 20% discount to pay in full, remove the debt, and request. Ask politely, hey, I know I'm asking for a favor here, but can you please remove these from my credit report? So now they're paid off. You save money by negotiating or paying in full, and you politely ask 9.5 times out of 10. If not almost every single time, they will, if you ask politely, of course, remove the debt collection from your credit report, right? You need to request removals. Pay the balance and request removals. This shift alone seriously changed everything for me. So the next step is going to be a 0% APR balance transfer, right? Let's say you have a credit card that has a $5,000 balance and man, you've got a $5,000 limit and you've got a $4,000 balance on there. You're just trying to keep up with it. Now interest is accruing. Here's what I want you to do. Take that leftover balance, say it's maybe $3,000, maybe you get approved to transfer $4,000, right? And this will come from when you're able to improve your credit a little bit by doing the former, what I said before, and able to get a new credit card. Maybe it has another $3,500 limit and you're able to transfer $3,500 of that $4,000 balance to a new card with 0% APR, so no interest for say 12 to 18 months. This is a game changer. You can take $3,500 of that $4,000 balance, transfer it to the other card, and start making payments on that immediately and getting that balance down. Now your original card is sitting at a $0 balance, which is great, or a $500 balance, which is a lot more manageable and will be a lot less interest. So I would prioritize getting that down to zero as fast as possible while setting up a payment plan for the card you transfer to. So say there's $3,500 on there. Your goal is to pay it off in 12 months, divide it by 12 and make equal payments. And as you start paying down that second card now, it will drastically improve your score as well, because now your original card has a much smaller credit utilization. And also that second card, you're paying down that balance every single month, which will boost your score. So transfer the leftover balance to a 0% APR card, create your own payment plan, and avoid compounding interest. This will give you breathing room instead of just drowning in interest. On to step 6 here. Okay, last pretty big one, and then some lower hanging fruit, but never miss payments. I mean, this is pretty obvious, and I get it. Like, life is tough. It's hard to make more money. I get it. I've been in plenty of positions where I'm struggling financially, not able to make all ends meet, and that's probably why your credit got bad in the first place or poor. But again, it's fixable. And from now on, make a promise to yourself to not miss payments. Turn on auto pay on, say, if you have an auto loan or a rent payment or even a mortgage payment, anything that you can put auto pay on. If you're willing to put auto pay on the credit cards, again, just make sure it's around those reporting dates. But don't make excuses. I know that sounds vague. I know it sounds kind of blunt, but it's true. Like, if you're really going to take credit seriously, you cannot have late or missed payments. Payment history is going to be everything. If you just protect one thing out of this whole video, protect your payment history. The next one, kind of like an added boost here, if possible. It may not be applicable, but it's being an authorized user. If you are an authorized user of an account with someone with good credit on their credit card, it will boost your score, all right? So if you have someone close to you, a partner, fiance, husband or wife, even a trusted other family member or friend that they can make you an authorized user on, and they have good credit history, it will boost your score as well. They have to have positive history, low utilization, and it will help accelerate the rebuild, right? So part of rebuilding your credit is going to be surrounding yourself with responsible people. Like, there's no doubt about it. If you're surrounding yourself with not financially responsible people, there's no doubt your credit and your financial history is going to take a hit as well. So American Express is really great with this. Say you have a family member, a friend, or a partner that has like an American Express Gold card. This is personally what I did. My fiance made me a authorized user. She had very good credit, and this absolutely boosted my score and my rebuild. Lastly, the final point that I have for you guys is credit mix matters, right? Whether it's an auto loan, rent for a home or an apartment, a credit card, or two or three credit cards even, never missing payments. This shows lenders that you can manage installment debt, right? If you have recurring, things that you're paying, a credit card bill, housing costs, an auto loan, maybe even a personal loan. This shows, these finance, agencies, whether, again, lenders, that you are responsible. So credit mix absolutely matters. So as your credit score improves, try to get approved for another card, right? Maybe an upgraded version of the current card that you have. If you have an auto loan, like we talked about, make sure you're making all your payments all the time. So having good credit mix absolutely matters. And for more information on that, like inside of like Credit Karma specifically, you'll learn a lot about credit mix and which ones you should be aiming for. The app makes it really, really easy for that as well. But different types of credit builds a stronger profile. So let me leave you guys off with this. Like, sitting here today, for having bad credit and ignoring it for so long, and to be able to sit here today and have a 720 credit score and climbing, like, obviously a goal for me is to get to an 800 in the next year or two, however long it takes. I will get there. But it means so much to me. It's improved my life in so many ways. There's so much less stress, fear, guilt, shame, embarrassment, whatever it may be. This was tough for me, going through like renting homes and being denied because I had poor credit and having to do letter of explanations. It was embarrassing. Again, this is all because I viewed like cash as king and only use cash. And there's definitely an argument there, but credit is very versatile. It's very useful to have good credit in your life. And when I saw 700 for the first time, it wasn't just about the number. It was proof that I could fix something I once neglected for so long. And fixing my credit, it fixed how I viewed myself. From now, my plan from 720 to 800 plus, it's just about time, aging my accounts, keeping that low utilization, avoiding any unnecessary hard inquiries on my credit, and then, of course, most importantly, not avoiding past and old mistakes, right? The growth will be slower as I reach higher levels, but patience now becomes the strategy. Listen to me right now. If you're listening to this, you're watching this, and you love Star Wars like I do, and your credit score is in the 500s, the 400s, maybe even the 600s right now, you're not dumb. You're not doomed. You're just uninformed, or you're undisciplined. And that's okay, because it's fixable. Credit is not about impressing banks or impressing your peers even. It's about keeping your word, managing responsibility, becoming just a reliable person. I have been disciplined in my health for many years now, even with poor credit, because I'm a fitness coach. I own a fitness coaching business. But my discipline only got even better. My word only got even stronger when I fixed my credit, right? I became so much more responsible, so much more just like an adult. And it feels so freeing. I feel like I have so much more freedom and so much less fear around my credit. So fixing my credit and you fixing your credit will not just change your score. It will change how you move through life. If you're a 90s baby who feels behind, this is something you can fix. I promise you. That's going to wrap up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy the content, please consider dropping a like, commenting, subscribing to the channel, even sharing the video with a friend or family member. It would mean the absolute world to me. I hope you all have an amazing, amazing day. Go fix that credit, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.